The Deep Space Monitoring Station Artemis hung in Earth's orbit, like a delicate spider's web of sensors and communication arrays. Inside, Sarah Chen stared at her display, double-checking the readings that had just set off every alarm in her section. The signal was like nothing she'd ever seen before, a massive energy surge from just beyond Saturn's orbit, far from any known human installation. "Control, this is Deep Space Monitoring Station 3, she reported, keeping her voice steady despite her racing heart. "I'm tracking an anomalous energy signature. It's enormous. Whatever it is, it's bigger than anything we've ever detected." The response came immediately. "Artemis, maintain monitoring. We're routing the DSV horizon to your coordinates. Stand by for direct communication." The Deep Space Vessel Horizon was humanity's most advanced research ship, designed to study astronomical phenomena up close. Captain Maya Rodriguez stood on her bridge 12 hours later, watching the main display as they approached the source of the mysterious signal. Her crew worked in focused silence, each person acutely aware that they might be about to make history. "Energy signature is intensifying, Captain," reported Dr. James Kumar, the ship's chief scientist. "But there's something odd about the pattern. It's pulsing, almost like a distress signal." Maya finished. She'd spent enough years in space rescue to recognize the universal rhythm of an SOS, even if the technology behind it was completely alien. "All hands to stations. Enable full sensor arrays and prepare for possible first contact protocols." The horizon's powerful lights illuminated the void ahead, and suddenly they saw it. A fleet of massive ships, their design unlike anything human eyes had ever witnessed. The vessels were beautiful in their alienness, sleek curves of what looked like living metal, now dulled and dark. They drifted in space, their formation broken, clear signs of damage visible across their hulls. "Life signs?" Maya demanded. "Thousands," James replied, his voice barely a whisper. "Maybe hundreds of thousands, but their power signatures are critically low and failing. Whatever happened to them, Captain, they're in serious trouble." Maya didn't hesitate. First contact protocols technically called for careful observation and waiting for instructions from Earth. But there were lives at stake. "Open all frequencies. Let's let them know help has arrived." The response came in a burst of static and alien language, quickly processed by their translation systems. The message was fragmentary but clear. "Refugees, star death, systems failing. Please, help." Maya opened a channel to Earth Command. "This is DSV Horizon. We have made contact with an alien refugee fleet in critical condition, requesting immediate assistance and authorization to render aid. Sending all data now." She turned to her crew, seeing the same determination in their eyes that she felt. "Today, humanity shows the universe what we're made of. All departments prepare for emergency operations. We're about to attempt the biggest rescue in human history." As the horizon moved closer to the alien fleet, more details became clear. The refugees were fleeing the death of their home system's star, which had begun to destabilize unexpectedly. Their ships, for all their advanced technology, had been pushed beyond their limits in the desperate escape. Now they drifted, their power systems failing one by one, with nowhere left to turn. Earth's response was unprecedented. Within hours, ships were launching from every major spaceport on the planet. Research vessels, cargo haulers, mining ships, anything that could reach them in time. The first human contact with an alien civilization wouldn't be a carefully planned diplomatic exchange, but a race against time to save lives. Dr. Kumar managed to establish more reliable communication with the alien command ship. Their leader, Entity Zinra, appeared on the main screen, a tall, elegant being with iridescent skin and multiple eyes that reflected the stars themselves. "We are grateful for your response," Zinra said through the translator. "But I must be direct. Our preliminary scans show your technology is primitive compared to ours. How can you possibly help?" Maya smiled. "With respect, Entity Zinra, Sometimes the simplest solutions are the best ones. Your ships may be more advanced than ours, but right now they're not working. Ours are. Let us show you what humanity can do. The next few hours were a flurry of activity as more Earth ships arrived. Engineers from the horizon were already studying the alien vessels' systems, looking for ways to provide emergency power. The aliens were surprised by how quickly the humans adapted to their technology, even if they couldn't fully understand it. Your people are unusual, Zinre observed, watching the humans work. Most species we know would hesitate to help strangers, especially ones so different from themselves. That's not who we are, Maya replied. Humanity learned long ago that our greatest strength isn't in our technology or our resources. It's in our ability to come together and help others, no matter who they are or where they come from. As the rescue operation began in earnest, a message spread through both the human and alien crews. This wasn't just about saving lives anymore. It was about showing that in the vastness of space, compassion and determination could bridge any gap, even one between the stars themselves. The real work was just beginning, and time was running out. But as Maya watched her crew working alongside the aliens, she knew they would find a way. They had to. Because today, humanity wasn't just making first contact. They were showing the galaxy what it truly meant to be human. Dr. Emma Torres stood before the holographic display of the alien vessel's power systems, her mind racing as she tried to make sense of the complex networks before her. 24 hours had passed since first contact, and the situation was growing more dire by the minute. Earth ships continued to arrive, but the challenge wasn't just about having enough resources. It was about understanding how to use them. Their power core operates on principles we've barely theorized about, she explained to Captain Rodriguez and Entity Zinra. It's like they've built their entire civilization on technology we've only dreamed of. But right now, that advancement is working against them. The alien leader's multiple eyes shifted in what Emma had learned was a sign of distress. Our systems were designed to be self-sustaining. We never imagined a scenario where they would fail so completely. The hologram showed cascading failures throughout the refugee fleet. Life support systems were operating at minimal capacity, and the temporary solutions they'd managed to implement were barely keeping pace with the deterioration. The problem isn't just power, Emma continued. Your systems are too integrated, too dependent on each other. When one part fails, it brings down everything else. Our technology might be simpler, but sometimes simpler is better. A new alarm blared through the command center. One of the refugee ships had just lost primary life support. Emergency systems had engaged, but they had hours at most before the situation became critical. Zinra, Maya said, we need your people to stop thinking of us as primitive and start seeing us as partners. Your technology might be more advanced, but right now it's failing. Let us help you in our way. The alien leader was silent for a long moment. Their species had been among the stars for millennia, their technology the envy of the civilizations they'd encountered. To rely on help from a species that had barely reached their own moon seemed impossible, but they were out of options. Tell us what you need, Zinra finally said. The next few hours saw an unprecedented collaboration. Alien engineers worked alongside humans, explaining their systems while learning about Earth's primitive but reliable technology. The language barrier was a challenge, but they found common ground in mathematics and physics. Emma led a team that began mapping out a solution. Your power systems are like a symphony orchestra, she explained to her alien counterparts. Beautiful and complex, but if one instrument fails, the whole piece suffers. We need to temporarily replace it with something simpler. Think of it as switching to a drum beat. Not as elegant, but it'll keep the rhythm going. The aliens began to understand as they watched the humans work. Where their own engineers might spend days theorizing the perfect solution, the humans were willing to try, fail, and adapt rapidly. They saw beauty in improvisation that their own culture had forgotten in its pursuit of perfection. Meanwhile, aboard the refugee ships, the situation grew more desperate. Families huddled together in emergency shelters, their children asking questions that parents couldn't answer. The proud species that had mastered star travel found themselves depending on the kindness of beings they would have considered backward just days ago. "Your people are remarkable," one of the alien engineers, Valen, said to Emma as they worked. "We detected your radio signals centuries ago, but paid little attention. We thought any species still using such primitive communication couldn't have anything to teach us." Emma smiled as she recalibrated a power coupling. "That's the thing about humans. We're really good at surprising people." A breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Sarah Chen, the Deep Space Monitoring Officer who had first detected the refugee fleet, noticed something in the original distress signal. The energy pattern wasn't just a call for help. It contained detailed information about the aliens' power systems. "Look at this," she said, sending the data to Emma's team. "The signal itself shows us how their technology works. It's like they built a manual into their SOS." Armed with this new understanding, the human-alien engineering teams began to make real progress. They developed a way to temporarily bypass the aliens' failing power cores, using modified Earth fusion reactors as emergency generators. It wasn't elegant, and it wouldn't work forever, but it could buy them the time they needed to find a permanent solution. But as they prepared to implement their plan, new complications arose. The stress on the alien ships' hulls was increasing. What had started as a power crisis was becoming a structural one. They needed to act fast, but one wrong move could tear the massive vessels apart. "We have less than 48 hours, Emma reported to Maya and Zinra. "After that, the damage will be irreversible." Maya looked at the alien leader. "We have a plan, but it's risky. Every Earth ship will need to work in perfect coordination with your fleet. One mistake could doom us all. But it's the only chance we have." Zinra's expression was unreadable to human eyes, but their voice carried both fear and determination. "We who thought ourselves masters of the stars must now trust our lives to those we once thought beneath us. Perhaps this is the universe teaching us humility." As the combined fleet prepared for their most daring operation, the truth of those words echoed through both human and alien crews. In the vastness of space, pride and prejudice meant nothing. Survival spoke a language all its own, and humanity's greatest strength was its ability to speak it fluently. The space around Saturn's orbit had become a hub of unprecedented activity. Over 200 Earth vessels of various sizes and purposes now surrounded the massive alien refugee fleet. The scene would have been impossible to imagine just days ago. Human mining ships, research vessels, and cargo haulers working in concert with ships that dwarfed them in both size and technological sophistication. Inside the DSV Horizon's main engineering bay, Dr. Emma Torres and her alien counterpart Valen were putting the final touches on their desperate plan. Holographic displays showed the complex web of power transfers they would need to coordinate across the entire fleet. "The principle is simple," Emma explained to the gathered human and alien engineers. "We're going to create a power distribution network using our ships as nodes. Each Earth vessel will act as a temporary power plant for a section of your ships." Simple. Valen's multiple eyes blinked in what Emma had learned was disbelief. "You're proposing to link hundreds of completely different power systems together in a way that's never been attempted before. The energy harmonics alone could tear our ships apart." "That's why we're not going to try to match your power systems exactly," Emma replied, pulling up a new diagram. "We're going to do something much more basic. Think of it like jump-starting a car, but on a massive scale." The alien engineers watched as she demonstrated the modified fusion reactors they'd developed. Earth's technology might have been centuries behind the aliens in many ways, but it had one crucial advantage: adaptability. Human engineers had centuries of experience making different systems work together, often in ways their original designers never intended. Captain Rodriguez entered the engineering bay, her presence immediately drawing attention. "How much longer?" she asked, her voice carrying the weight of thousands of lives. "We're ready for the first full-scale test," Emma responded. "But Maya, There's something you need to know. The power requirements are higher than we initially calculated. To generate enough energy, we'll need to push our fusion reactors way beyond their safety limits. Maya's expression remained steady, but her eyes showed she understood the implications. How dangerous are we talking about? If anything goes wrong during the power transfer, the feedback could cause our reactors to go critical. We're talking about potential cascade failures across the entire human fleet. The room fell silent. Every human present knew what that meant. They would be risking not just their ships, but their lives. The aliens watched this exchange with growing amazement. They had assumed these primitives were simply too unsophisticated to understand the dangers involved. Now they realized the humans understood perfectly. They were just willing to take the risk. Have all ships begin evacuation of non-essential personnel, Maya ordered. Nobody stays aboard who doesn't absolutely need to be there. The next few hours saw a flurry of activity as the human fleet prepared for the attempt. Escape pods were readied, backup systems were primed, and final calculations were checked and rechecked. Through it all, the aliens observed something they had never expected from a less advanced species: perfect coordination without the need for their advanced neural networks or AI systems. Entity Zinra joined Maya on the Horizon's bridge as the final preparations were made. "Your people continue to surprise us," the alien leader said. "We have encountered many species in our travels, but none quite like humans." "How so?" Maya asked, reviewing the final status reports from the fleet. "Most species we meet either fear those more advanced than themselves or resent them. Your people do neither. You simply adapt. You see our technology not as something to worship or envy, but as simply another tool to be understood and used." Maya smiled. "That's because we learned a long time ago that it's not the technology that matters most. It's the people using it." The moment of truth arrived. Emma's voice came over the command channel, steady despite the tension. "All ships report ready. Power grid is aligned. We're ready to begin on your order, Captain." Maya looked at Zinra, who gave the alien equivalent of a nod. "All ships, this is Captain Rodriguez. Begin power transfer sequence on my mark. Remember, if anything goes wrong, abort immediately and get your crews to safety. 3, 2, 1, mark." The space around them came alive with energy. Hundreds of human fusion reactors spun up to dangerous levels, channeling power through hastily constructed conduits to the alien vessels. Emergency klaxons blared across the human fleet as safety systems were bypassed and power outputs reached critical levels. For a moment, it seemed to be working. The alien ship's systems began to respond, emergency lights flickering back to life across their massive hulls. Then the first problem hit. Power surge in Sector 7. Emma's voice cut through the chaos. "Compensating. We need more power to stabilize the grid." "Reactors 3 and 4 are redlining," came another report. "We can't maintain this output level." Maya watched as the status displays turned from green to yellow to red. They were losing the battle. The power requirements were simply too high, the technical challenges too great. Then she heard something that changed everything: laughter. It was coming from Valen. The alien engineer was looking at their readings with all 4 eyes wide open. "You incredible, primitive, brilliant humans," they said. "Don't you see what you've done? You're not just providing power, you're teaching our systems how to adapt." Emma's eyes flew to her own readings. The alien was right. The human power grid wasn't just supplying energy. Its very imperfections, its fluctuations and variations, were forcing the alien systems to become more flexible, more resilient. "All ships, maintain current output," she ordered. "The alien ships are learning from our power signature. Keep it steady for 3 more minutes." Those 3 minutes felt like years. Across the human fleet, engineers fought to keep their reactors from going critical. Warning systems screamed of imminent failure, but they held on, every crew member knowing that they were part of something unprecedented in human history. And then suddenly, it was over. The alien ship's systems stabilized, their power cores adapting to work with the simpler but more robust human technology. Emergency lights turned to standard illumination across the massive vessels as life support and crucial systems came back online. A cheer went up across the human fleet, quickly followed by exhausted laughter and more than a few tears. They had done it. Through sheer determination, ingenuity, and willingness to risk everything, humanity had just saved an entire civilization. But as the celebration began, Emma and Valen shared a look. This wasn't just a rescue anymore. In forcing their technologies to work together, they had created something entirely new. A hybrid system that combined the best aspects of both civilizations. The implications were staggering. The real work was just beginning. In the days following the successful rescue, the combined human-alien fleet maintained its position near Saturn's orbit. The immediate crisis had passed, but the work of fully stabilizing the refugee ships and planning their future continued. The DSV Horizon had become an unlikely hub of interstellar diplomacy, its corridors filled with both humans and aliens working together to forge a path forward. Dr. Emma Torres sat in what had once been a storage room, now converted into a joint research center. Around her, human and alien scientists pored over data from the emergency power transfer operation. What they had discovered was revolutionary. The forced integration of their technologies had created something entirely new. "Look at this," Valen said, manipulating a holographic display with their four-fingered hands. "The power fluctuations from your fusion reactors didn't just keep our systems running. They fundamentally altered how they work. Our technology has always prioritized efficiency over adaptability. Now it's learning to do both." Emma nodded, studying the complex energy patterns. "And our systems have begun incorporating elements of your quantum mechanics. The possibilities are incredible. This could revolutionize everything from space travel to Earth's power grid." But technology wasn't the only thing being transformed. Throughout the fleet, humans and aliens were learning from each other in ways that went far beyond engineering. Cultural exchange officers had been hastily appointed, and stories were being shared between the species. Captain Maya Rodriguez found entity Zinra in the Horizon's observation lounge, watching Earth ships deliver supplies to the refugee fleet. The alien leader's iridescent skin reflected the distant light of Saturn. "Your people continue to amaze us," Zinra said without turning. "We have received offers of aid from every nation on your planet. Even those with barely enough resources for themselves have offered to help." "That's humanity for you," Maya replied, joining them at the window. "We may fight among ourselves, but when it really matters, we come together. We had detected your broadcasts, decades of them. We saw your wars, your conflicts, your struggles. We thought you were too divided, too primitive to be worth contacting." Zinra's multiple eyes shifted in what Maya now recognized as embarrassment. "We were wrong. We mistook technological advancement for true civilization." The conversation was interrupted by an alert from Earth Command. A diplomatic delegation was en route, carrying a proposal that would change both civilizations forever. Hours later, representatives from Earth's major nations sat across from the alien leadership in the Horizon's converted conference room. "We're not just offering temporary sanctuary," the UN Secretary General explained via holographic link. "We're proposing a permanent settlement. There are several locations in our solar system that could be adapted to your needs, with humanity's full support and cooperation." The alien representatives buzzed with surprise. "You would share your system with us, after knowing us for mere days?" "We're offering more than that," another diplomat added. "We're proposing a full technological and cultural exchange program. What we've achieved here, working together, is just the beginning." As the diplomatic discussions continued, life aboard the refugee ships was already transforming. Human medical teams worked alongside alien healers, learning from each other's techniques. Engineers from both species collaborated on improving the hybrid power systems. Children from both civilizations, initially fearful of each other's strange appearances, were now sharing games and stories through translator devices. In the Horizon's engineering bay, Emma and Valen led a team working on something even more ambitious. The hybrid technology they had created in desperation was proving to be more revolutionary than anyone had imagined. "If we can scale this up," Emma explained to a gathered group of human and alien scientists, "we could create a new type of propulsion system, something that combines the reliability of our fusion technology with the efficiency of your quantum drives. It would change everything," Valen added. "Deep space exploration, colonization, trade. The possibilities are endless." But perhaps the most profound changes were happening in the quiet moments, the small interactions between individuals from worlds light years apart. In the Horizon's mess hall, human crew members shared Earth foods with curious aliens, while learning to appreciate the strange but fascinating cuisine of their new friends. In the observation lounges, stories were exchanged, tales of Earth's oceans meeting legends of distant stars. Maya found herself working closely with Zinra on planning the future of their unprecedented alliance. The alien leader had changed notably since their first meeting, their initial diplomatic reserve replaced by genuine warmth. "You know," Maya said during one of their planning sessions, "when we first detected your fleet, we thought we were just mounting a rescue mission. We never imagined we were helping to birth a new era for both our species." Zinra's skin rippled with colors that Maya had learned indicated deep emotion. "In our long history among the stars, we had forgotten something crucial, something your people reminded us of. True advancement isn't measured by technology alone, but by the capacity for compassion, adaptation, and growth." As the Earth ships continued their work, a message was being broadcast across both fleets. It was simple, but it carried the weight of history. "Today marks the beginning of a new chapter for both our civilizations. Together, we will reach for the stars not as separate species, but as united explorers of the cosmic frontier." The universe, it seemed, had a sense of irony. A chance encounter born of desperation had led to one of the most significant moments in human history. And as both species looked toward the future, they realized that their greatest adventures were just beginning. 1 year had passed since the day humanity first encountered the refugee fleet. The space around Jupiter's moon Europa now bustled with activity as the massive alien vessels orbited their new home. What had once been a crisis of survival had transformed into one of the most remarkable collaborative efforts in human history. The former refugee fleet had been transformed. Their ships now pulsed with the steady power of hybrid reactors, a testament to what humans and aliens could achieve together. Below, on Europa's icy surface, construction teams from both species worked to build the first permanent settlement, a city that would house both civilizations. Dr. Emma Torres stood in the observation dome of the new Europa Research Center, watching the construction unfold. Beside her, Valen manipulated a holographic display showing their latest project, a revolutionary propulsion system that combined human fusion technology with alien quantum mechanics. "Sometimes I still can't believe how far we've come," Emma said, watching as a team of human and alien engineers tested new ice drilling equipment below. "A year ago, we were struggling just to keep your ships powered. Now we're building the future together." Valen's skin shimmed with what Emma now knew was pride and affection. "You humans have taught us something we had forgotten in our thousands of years of space travel, that true advancement comes not from technology alone, but from the willingness to adapt, to learn, and to help others." In orbit above them, the DSV Horizon prepared for its next mission. The ship had been extensively modified with hybrid technology, making it the first Earth vessel capable of true deep space exploration. Captain Maya Rodriguez reviewed the mission parameters with Entity Zinra, who had become Earth's primary liaison with the alien civilization. "The Joint Exploration Initiative is ready to launch," Maya said, examining the star charts they had compiled together. 3 ships, crewed by both our species, pushing further into the unknown than either of us has gone before. "And this time," Zinra added, "we go not as desperate refugees or unprepared rescuers, but as equal partners in discovery." The changes weren't limited to space. On Earth, the impact of the alien encounter had transformed society. The integration of alien technology had accelerated solutions to climate change and energy crisis. Medical breakthroughs emerged from the combination of human and alien healing techniques. But perhaps most importantly, humanity had found a new sense of unity and purpose. Sarah Chen, the Deep Space Monitoring Officer who had first detected the refugee fleet, now led a new department dedicated to interstellar communications. The protocols she had developed for first contact had become the standard for both civilizations. "We're picking up signals from other civilizations now," she reported during a joint council meeting. "With our combined technology and experience, we can reach further than ever before. There are more people out there, waiting to be discovered." In the Europa Settlement's central plaza, a monument had been erected, a sculpture created by artists from both species. It depicted two hands, one human and one alien, reaching toward each other across space. At its base, words in both languages read, "In our darkest hour, we found not just help, but hope. In our differences, we found strength. In the vastness of space, we found family." The hybrid technology, born of desperation, had evolved into something revolutionary. Ships could now travel faster and further than ever before. Power systems were cleaner and more efficient. But the real revolution wasn't in the technology. It was in the minds and hearts of both species. Children from both civilizations learned and played together in the settlement's education center. Young engineers and scientists collaborated on projects that would have been impossible for either species alone. Cultural exchange had moved beyond simple curiosity to genuine understanding and appreciation. As the sun set on another Europa day, Maya and Zinra stood in the Horizon's observation lounge one last time before their upcoming mission. The ship would soon depart as part of the joint exploration fleet, carrying the dreams and aspirations of both civilizations into the unknown. "Do you remember what you said to me during the rescue?" Zinra asked. "About humanity's greatest strength?" Maya nodded. "That it's not in our technology or resources, but in our ability to come together and help others." "We have learned that lesson well," Zinra replied. "And now, together, we carry that message to the stars." Below them, the lights of the Europa settlement began to shine against the ice, a beacon of hope in the darkness of space. Human and alien voices mingled in the corridors of ships and stations, no longer separated by fear or pride. They had faced extinction and survived, not through superior technology or ancient wisdom, but through the simple human qualities of compassion, determination, and the willingness to risk everything to help others. As the hybrid fleet prepared for its historic journey into deep space, a message was broadcast across all channels, in all languages. "We go forward not as separate species, but as proof that the universe's greatest resource is the capacity for different peoples to come together, to learn from each other, and to build something greater than either could achieve alone." The stars beckoned, and this time they would face them together, not as rescuers and refugees, but as a united force, ready to show the galaxy what could be achieved when technology was guided by compassion, and advancement was measured not in power, but in understanding. The greatest adventure was just beginning.